My name is Robert Levine. I'm a journalist, the former executive editor of Billboard magazine, and I just wrote a book called Free Ride: How the Internet is Destroying the Culture Business and How the Culture Business Could Fight Back. The second biggest problem with copyright is that it lasts 70 years. But the biggest problem with copyright is that it lasts 7 minutes. As soon as my book was published in the US, there were unauthorized copies available online. People on the internet tend to see copyright as something that gets in the way of them doing what they want to do. So in the case of copyright, there's a law that restricts you from distributing my book without compensating me, without my permission. Now, for a lot of people, that's an inconvenient law because they really want to download my book for free, or they really want to remix it, or they really want to make a business distributing it. And that might be a good thing. But if they do that, I wouldn't make a living. Therefore, all societies have in some way granted authors rights to their work. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people doing the same kind of work they do because they wouldn't have the money. So that gives me permission. So it means something very different to me. Now, in my case, I don't mind if people remix my book. But what's interesting is no one has. When I go online, I don't see any creative remixes of my book. And just let me say, I am dying for a cool version of my book with zombies. So if that's, if any of you are into zombies, come on, help me out here. What I see is people distributing my book for profit as a business. Now that does really bother me. If someone downloads it illegally without paying, it's an annoyance, but I guess I could understand that. I don't think it's a grave injustice. But the idea that people in Brazil are making money distributing my book, that does really bother me, because that's not, quote unquote, a kid who wants to read it. That's someone who's doing it as a business. And that, I think, is why we have copyright. Like, copyright was always a business-to-business law. One business is an authorized distributor, the other isn't. But it ultimately benefits artists. I gave Random House the right to distribute it. They give me a royalty. I did not give anyone in Brazil a right to distribute it. They give me no royalty. So that's obviously a problem. And when people talk about copyright on the internet, I feel that perspective is kind of absent. I understand the justification for wanting something and downloading it illegally, but what's the justification for the Pirate Bay? What is the justification for making a huge business, and the Pirate Bay is a huge business, don't kid yourself, out of distributing other people's work? It's just it's an indefensible position. And when people defend it, it really does bother me.